Going live in 3, 2, 1. We should be live. Right off the bat, Tronogamming gamer Corey Davis himself, through all obstacles, managed to find a way to be here. We love
Corey.
you. We love you, Corey. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says hi, everyone. So yeah, we're gonna break the news today. Corey wanted to be here to do it, so we're gonna do it today. We're gonna be chilling. We're gonna be using some Fruity Loops, a little bit of RPG Maker, just hanging out, talking, and just talking about what's going on with Corey. And let me just share some links real quick. I hope you're feeling okay today. I know you're probably not, but we want to talk about some of the cool things that Corey's done for us and for the community.
He says, yeah, gonna do as little typing as possible. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. Take it easy.
We're joined with Lily as well. Hi, baby. What's up, Renzo? How you doing, Renzo Dragneel? Vero Claw 23, I see you there. How you doing, Vero? What's up, Smo Valadorn? Yo, yo, yo. KV Kingdom, hello, everybody. How are you doing? Jamie Cassidy's here. Heya, heya. Skeps SD, what's up, dude? How you doing, Skeps? We put this link in our Discord. Links in the description to join us on Discord if you're interested. Put this in official. I'm glad it's Friday. It's been a rough week of things. We've had family visiting for 3 days, and that's always extra work and stress, even though it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm gonna say it, Corey. I'm gonna spare you some typing today. So for those of you who have been wondering where Corey's been, he's in the hospital, man. He's got leukemia. He's been battling leukemia. He's been in the intensive care unit.
He's real sick, feeling
really
bad.
sick, really bad. And he's fighting. He's a fighter. But like, it's a serious case, and they're gonna make him part cyborg. No bullshit. He's gonna be like cyborg. And yeah, man. Yeah, it's rough. And today he started chemo. So he just started his chemo today. So like, man, it basically poisons the body and hopes the cancer dies first. For those of you who don't know, leukemia is cancer in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so it moves around, and it's hard to really deal with.
Yeah.
And
the blood's produced in the bone marrow, mainly in the hips, and the chemo's gonna destroy the bone marrow, essentially, so that new bone marrow can develop that's healthy.
Is this track too loud? I decided to add the tracks that I've made in Fruity Loops, a really cool software that was given to me by Corey. Corey offered this software out for the month of giving. Remember, in December, he offered this $200 prize out, and we used Vino's game maker machine, a Stream Arena that he made with RPG Maker MZ to raffle it out, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Or, no, it wasn't really a raffle, it was just a giveaway, but you just show up. Contest. And he entered, and he actually got picked for that one. So he put that prize
he
up.
won his own prize.
Yeah, which was crazy, you know. And then he decided to give it to me because I did want it, and I've been using it this past couple weeks, and I've made a lot of different music tracks. And speaking of that, I've decided I'm going to add them to our MZ music. And the reason why I'm using the MZ music is, you know, I know that for sure it's not going to get a copyright claim on the music. And since I've got my own music, which, you know, I own the rights to, I'll add that too, so because I know it won't be copyright claimed. But thank you again, Corey, for getting me Fruity Loops. I've been using it. I've been loving it. I've been making music. I made some raps, some epic raps. We got a $2 super chat from Vino. Hey, Vino, how you doing today, man? $2 super chat. Thank you for the $2. He says, hello all and happy Friday.
Thank you, Vino. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Back to you. Trying to make sure, see everyone's chat here. Sir Lugna says, get better, Corey. Toronto says he doesn't hear any voices.
Uh-oh. Huh.
Oh no, refresh. Yeah, refresh the stream. We started like 7 minutes ago. What's up, Brizzy RPG Maker Apprentice? How are you doing today? $10 super chat from Vino. Thank you so much, Vino. Appreciate that.
He switched phones. That's good. A good idea.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now, Corey?
Can you hear us now? Thank you for that $10, Vino. We got, he says, love you, Corey. This community loves you. You put 100% of your strength into getting better. And know we are here for you. I'm going to go over.
Thank you, Vino.
I'll go over again what I said to start it. That way he knows what I've already said. So anyway, like I said, Corey's been battling cancer. He's got leukemia, and that's cancer of the blood.
It's made him real sick.
Yeah, he's had it for a little while and didn't really know it. And then, you know, he let it get really, really bad to the point where he was like hallucinating and had to go to the hospital. And luckily, you know, he got into the intensive care when he did, because he could have just dropped dead. It was so clutch. He's been in intensive care for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know, a while. And T and I knew something bad was up, because it wasn't like him just to drop off without saying like, hey, I'm gonna take a break, or I won't be around for a little while. He didn't say any of that. He just disappeared, and we're like, this isn't good. And yeah, it wasn't good. But he's fighting. He's going to be a cyborg now. He's going to have some implants put in his body so that so he can be a cyborg.
He started chemo today. He's
started his chemo
quite
today.
the round of chemo that he's going to be doing. He did some radiation, so it's pretty gnarly. He's in there doing.
The whole shebang is really a lot on the body.
Yeah.
Chemo basically poisons the body and hopes the cancer dies first. That's basically how it is. And I'm going to try to say what Corey said. He wanted to be open about it. He wanted to let people know his struggle, because, you know, he said, we were talking about this last week, and he said, well, you guys were open about it, and, you know, you reached out to the community and they helped you get through it, and he wants that support too. And so I just want to spend today trying to support Corey in any way that I know how. Let people know about his situation. Let him know that he's loved. The community here is appreciative of the things he's done for the community. And it sucks to see anybody in the RPG Maker community go through any type of struggle like this, especially something as serious as leukemia. So, I mean, we love you, man. And I think I was talking about last December when Corey was saying he couldn't hear us. And I was saying I added some music to the playlist, Corey. You know, the RPG Maker MZ playlist. I've been adding the tracks that I made using the software that you gave me in December. And if you remember, you were offering this up to everybody as a $200 prize. And then we used Vino's Stream Arena machine. And you know how like everybody enters and like Corey entered a bunch of times throughout the contest, and he's like, he just wants to enter for fun, and he was planning on giving out the prize if he won anyway. And he didn't win most of the time, but then it was strange because the biggest prize he was offering that day was this one, and he won that one.
Yeah.
And then he in my favor, he decided to give it to me because I did tell everybody this is the only thing I actually wanted that day.
Yeah.
Or for the whole month even. And so I feel really blessed, and I feel like Corey's been a guardian angel to me and to us, and we really appreciate you, Corey. And I'm putting to good use the software you bought me in December. I've been making raps, and I've been making music with it, and I've been having a lot of fun, and really appreciate it. I think I'll go ahead and add some more of those today, right now. All the stuff I've made over the last week or so, 2 weeks.
Yeah, Corey says he can't wait to get his hands on something that he can use Fruity Loops with. He's stuck in the hospital right now with cell phones, so
He has his laptop, but it's in the truck.
It's in the truck, yeah.
And he's in the deep ICU. Like,
yeah, he can't leave.
You can't even get out of. You can barely get out of bed, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's rough. His body is fading in and out. And if Corey passes out in the middle of the stream, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And
get that rest if you need it.
Don't feel obligated to stay up and push your body. You get that rest, man. Mm-hmm. We need to get Corey a box of Fruit Loops sent to. I don't know if Corey is able to accept packages from fans or anything.
Well, I'm sure if anything were sent to the hospital he's in, they'd give it to Corey.
Yeah. Yeah, he says not right now. It's so hard to type. I can't tell and do much.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot he would like to say even, but can't because it's just physically an impossibility. It's super challenging.
Yeah.
So let me find some OGGs that I've created with Fruity Loops. Let me sort by, let's see, type.
He got his Nintendo DS.
Oh, cool. You gonna get that Switch?
There's an RPG Maker on DS.
There is, huh?
Yeah. There sure
I don't
is.
know how good it is. I've never used it.
People like the graphics are well loved. I know that. I don't know about the engine itself, but
It's super hard to even play, I'd imagine, right?
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully it won't take long before you start to feel better.
What I feel like is going to happen is he's going to have good days and bad days. And on some days you just can't do anything. And
Yeah.
on the good days you'll be able to do a little bit of playing the, Switch or whatever to pass the time.
Yeah.
Talk to people a little bit.
And soon the good days will be more than the bad days. It'll slowly start to take over.
I hope so.
Hope very soon.
I hope so. I know
Yeah.
chemotherapy's a bitch. My mom went through chemotherapy. Since we're on the topic of this, my mom also had cancer. She had leukemia at one point in her lymph nodes. She had breast cancer first, and then they removed one of her breasts. And then years later, she developed it metastasized, went in her blood, went in her lungs, went in her brain. You know what I mean? The whole shebang. She was taking chemo. She had good days and she had bad days. And on her good days, it was like you couldn't even tell she was sick. She was up and at 'em and she was doing good. And then on the bad days, in bed all day. Can't even, throwing up. Like the worst flu you've ever seen, but like never going away over a long period of time while you're on chemo. Mm-hmm. It was really rough.
Corey says he's shaking like a mouse in the freezer. Is that like a side effect from the chemo you did today?
Probably. Yeah, this is the first
Yeah.
time going through the treatment. His body's probably like dealing with new chemicals and
Yeah.
new stuff it's trying to fight off me, and like, what is this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And the chemo's killing things, you know what I mean? So it's his body's trying to fight that you know, that chemical fight killing stuff, you know. And there's a lot of bad cells that need to go, but it's also mixed in with a little bit of good cells he's got, and it's causing reaction. Yeah, bundle up, you know. I know, you know, you got to cover up and stay bundled up, but I mean luckily I didn't get to that point. I have cancer too, but it's localized, you know. I have eye cancer, and it's just in one spot. Pray to God it stays there, and that's it, and just gets smaller. But you know, we'll see. I just want to acknowledge the severity of the situation, and I don't know, provide some support and awareness, and let Corey know that, you know, we love you, and keep trying, keep fighting. It's not going to be easy. You're going to feel bad, and it's not going to, don't give up, because I know a lot of the times I've talked to people, and they said they want to die because they feel like they're so bad that they want to die. But, you know, try to stay out of that mindset. Just, you want to live, man. You want to live. You want to fight through this garbage feeling, this garbage point, and you want to make it. You want to go, and there's a lot of things you still want to do, and people love you, and you've got people here who want you around, and, you know, you let us know what you need help with. If we're able in any way, you know, people are going to try. Let's see, I want to put my OSTs, but not the like lyrical raps, because it'll distract me while I'm talking, like doing whatever I'm doing on stream. So we'll put in, let's see, what is this one? I'll remove this one, and then I'll just add all of them. The chill vibe, exclusive, open meadow, we're gonna passage, random cutscene, victory music. Wow, I've got 6 of them already that I've made this last couple weeks.
Nice.
Let's go through them here. They're all like 130 BPM using a 808 template. I need to change that up.
What's an 808 anyways?
It's a type of drum kit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The RPG music is slightly louder than my my Fruity Loop exports. They're mastered a bit better, obviously. You're welcome, Corey. Corey said thank you. It means a lot. Skepsis said his dog had cancer removed a few hours ago.
Damn.
That's rough. Everybody's got their stories. Look at Vino, says, my mother had cancer and went through 2 years of cancer. Her most successful period of trying to recover was through taking shark's cartilage, because sharks are immune to cancer. Wow, really?
That's interesting.
Taking shark's cartilage. I wonder... Was that like prescribed by a doctor, or how did you get to the point where you're like, I'm gonna eat shark bones?
Well, sharks don't have bones.
The cartilage.
Cartilage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Wrath of Wood said the 808 is an old drum machine everyone loves now, but was unsuccessful at the launch, so they're kind of rare and expensive.
No kidding.
Yeah, but I mean, we have them digitized.
Right.
You know.
It's interesting though that like nobody liked it when it came out, but everybody loves it now.
Jamie Cassidy, get in the corner right now. Jamie goes drifty. You really just said dog cancer is rough? Did I say that?
I mean,
I'm gonna run away right now. Oh man. You lost an aunt, Vero Claw? Yeah, it's a rough one. What's going on, baby?
Yeah, I lost an uncle to cancer.
I also lost an uncle to cancer 3 years ago. My uncle, he was 60 something, 62. Yeah, my uncle Shelby, he had lupus, which is a different type of cancer.
And then,
it has
from what I understand, leukemia too.
Did he?
Yeah, from what your aunt was explaining.
He had a lot.
It sounded like leukemia.
He had a lot of stuff happen to him. He got
did.
lupus, and his body's own immune system basically shut down all his systems.
Well, and lupus itself can kill you.
That's basically what killed him.
Yeah.
Is he had lupus.
Yeah.
And I think it's like cancer, but it's like your body's immune system attacks everything in your
brain.
body.
That's the big part. It attacks your brain. So like you quit being able to use certain systems, your body stops being able to like do like automatic stuff, and it really messes things up.
Right. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
A $5 super chat from Vino. Thank you, Vino. We appreciate that. He says, yes, sharks' cartilage is in pill form. It's experimental because they don't yet understand the exact reason sharks are immune, but they suspect it's the cartilage.
Wow. That's interesting. Corey Davis says, I lost my mom from cancer. Yeah?
Yep. Me too, man.
What kind of cancer did she have, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm interested to know, too. Hey, at least you had her up until a few years ago, right? You know, she was there for you to do a lot of stuff. I didn't really get to know my mom that much. I lost her to cancer when I was 11. She was young, too, man.
She was
33.
33?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's a baby.
Yep.
It's awful.
She you know, it went everywhere, and
that was when she passed from the cancer. She was diagnosed like 8 years before that.
Yeah, she had it for a long time.
She had it for a long time. Yeah.
She smoked cigarettes since she was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she ever really quit. So she smoked cigarettes a lot. She had breast cancer, and then they removed her breast, and then, you know, she just kept smoking, or maybe she quit. I don't really know. I was too young, you know.
Yeah.
And then I remember we were living in Indiana at the time, and she got sick and went to the doctor, and she got a blood test and whatever. She found out she had lung cancer. Maybe it was an X-ray or something.
Yeah.
But she had lung cancer, and I remember the moment when she was dealing with it, because in Indiana, my stepdad Larry, you know, my mom's white and he's a black guy, and he was trying to convince her to stop smoking, and here she is stressed out that she got her lung cancer diagnosis, and she's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
She's still smoking a cigarette.
You know
And
what,
Larry's telling
so
her,
addictive.
he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop. You got to stop. This is your sign. You got to stop.
It's so hard to stop smoking.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
It's crazy.
So she had bone cancer. Damn. That's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom was just here this past few days, and I've been trying real hard to convince her to switch to vaping because it's easier to quit vaping than cigarettes. And I'm like, well, maybe it's a stepping stone. I've been trying for years. To get her to quit smoking. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat in the microphone because I have very great microphone presence. But yeah, I've been trying for years to get her to quit smoking, and it's, you know, I don't know. I won't believe that she ever will until I see it, you know?
Yeah.
It's been so long. But I'm thinking maybe if I could get her to switch to vaping, it might be easier to kick the habit.
Yeah.
But she's resistant to that too.
It's hard to start into the vape. Like, it's hard to like find a consistent way to transition from smoking to vaping because it takes a big investment.
Yeah.
You know, if either you spend a lot more money in like constantly buying like disposable type cartridges, which I don't recommend. You're gonna have to dump some money and buy your own like mixes. You know,
She ain't gonna do that.
She won't do that.
No,
you know,
it would have to be just a vape pen. And
it has to be easy and convenient.
But here's the way I think:
And
if it makes it so she can quit, in the long run, she's gonna save so much more money. And she was already diagnosed with cancer, so and she was fortunate that it was skin melanoma, and they caught it early enough.
That was on her nose, huh?
It was on her nose. They cut it off, and she's okay.
Right.
But I mean, that should be a warning for you.
Right. Corey quit smoking, which is good.
Yes, that's awesome, Corey. So cool. It's hard. It's so hard. I remember when I quit smoking at 22, I had been trying for like a year, but I didn't really want to quit. The addiction had a big hold over me. And
That's
like
the thing.
I just kept going back to it, and I was like, I don't even freaking care. I just want to smoke a cigarette.
Right.
And but then I started hanging out with a group of people, and none of them smoked, and so that helped me like to go over that hump. I was like, okay, well, if none of these guys are gonna smoke, I don't want them to see me smoking a cigarette. So it was
Right.
kind of like good peer pressure.
Peer pressure, yeah.
Yeah. So I finally did quit, but it was begrudgingly. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
Right. That's what happened for me too. I mean, at the same time, I was like, I didn't have the money to keep buying cigarettes, but I would buy them every time I could. Mm-hmm. And I was going to junior college, and it was a group of people who didn't smoke, and I was in my mid-20s, and I was getting like shamed essentially because I was smoking.
And you smelled like cigarettes.
And I smelled terrible like cigarettes, and they're like, it was a peer pressure, and it was a good peer pressure combined with the fact that like it was taking the very little bit of money I had constantly. And so I was like, you know what, it's time to kick it. And I finally quit, and I haven't smoked any cigarettes since. So
yeah, well, I mean, that's a thing too. You know, if you're regularly around a group of people that don't smoke, it does exert quite a bit of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I remember working in an R&D department at a surgical tool manufacturer, and nobody in the R&D department smoked, as far as I knew.
Mm-hmm.
But one day, one of the guys came in, and he's standing really close to me. And I noticed that he smelled like smoke, and he noticed that I noticed that he smelled like smoke. And he's like, yeah, I smoke. I know I really shouldn't. And he got like really embarrassed, and
Right.
like he didn't want me to know that he smoked. He was trying to hide it.
But he knew that you knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does exert a lot of pressure if you're around people that don't smoke. It's helpful.
It works. It works the other way around too.
Yeah.
So like
It's true.
the reason why I started smoking is my girlfriend at the time was smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then she got my cousin smoking, and we were always hanging out. So it was me, my girlfriend, and my cousin, and they're out having a cigarette break 5-10 times a day, 20 times a day, however many depending. And I'm like, well, okay, you guys go do your thing. And it's like one person can't go to church and the other one stays home and smokes crack. You know what I mean? It's either both of you going to be crackheads or both of you going to go to church.
Yeah.
And so I eventually just started smoking cigarettes with them.
That happens a lot, yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, everybody in my world smoked. Everybody. And I started smoking when I was 12 years old. And the people around me would give me cigarettes. I had no trouble getting cigarettes, even though I didn't have a job and I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it was just like everywhere. But also back then, people weren't as aware of how dangerous tobacco was. Well, not just tobacco, but cigarettes specifically.
Yeah. I mean, if you go farther back, you'll see commercials on television, national television, with doctors
Recommending
cigarettes
Yeah.
for certain things. That's just
True.
the corporate
True.
greed at its finest without proper regulation,
Mm-hmm.
So Legna says, I remember when I was with a team and they thought they were all non-smokers. One off-site trip, they were all gathered around smoking. I was just stunned by how they hid it all.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Smoking is like stigmatized now.
It was stigmatized in the opposite way, like you were peer pressured
Yeah.
to
like you
smoke.
weren't cool if you didn't
You
smoke.
weren't cool, yeah. You had to smoke cigarettes to be cool, like 40 years ago, 30 years ago, or
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
And now it's like, you're wasting your life if you smoke or something. But you still have people on both sides of the fence, and you're gonna still have people to this day and forever until their last breath who are not gonna give up smoking, and they don't care what you think, and they're gonna have their filterless tobacco cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
Till the end of time, and like you can't tell them anything.
It's
and
true.
that's just the way it is. So vaping's gonna help a lot of people quit smoking cigarettes, but it's not gonna affect a lot of people who just don't care. They just don't care.
Yeah.
My grandma, case in point, she lived a very long time on my dad's side. She was I think she was 90 something, and she smoked cigarettes till the last 2 weeks of her life.
Yeah.
She didn't quit until
She couldn't actually lift her arm to do it anymore.
yeah,
kind of
until
thing.
she was
Yeah.
physically incapable of really moving to grab them or whatever. But
Yeah.
it was really, It was astounding, her stubbornness. She's like, well, I've smoked my entire life and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And she essentially died of old age. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, 90.
She's in her 90s.
That's a good old age.
You're right. You know, she's like, why would I care to stop now? You know, I'm like, but like, she eventually did, but she knew it was because she was ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey, I agree. He says, I think you should quit smoking, but don't force them to quit.
Right.
And you can't. You really can't,
force
somebody.
Them. They're going to do it until they decide not to anymore. Yeah. And I think that's the right approach. Like,
and I think
encourage people to quit smoking, but you can't force them. You can be like, yeah, you should probably quit, man, because blah, 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 or, you know, whatever.
I think my family knows that my urging them to quit smoking comes from a place of love. I watched my dad suffocate to death for over 20 hours. He literally was acting like he was drowning for hour after hour after hour. It was just agony. It was absolute agony. It was one of the most traumatic things I've ever gone through in my life. And I watched him suffocate to death. It was just terrible. And so since then, I've been pretty consistent in trying to convince my family to quit smoking, because I know what can happen and I know what the end looks like
so you're
for something like that. And so I think they understand that it comes from a place of love.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a case that wasn't caused from smoking, but smoking also causes the final thing.
Right. I left the hospital when he died, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to watch all of my family suffocate to death. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to watch that over and over and over again. And that's how I felt when I left, because I was pretty traumatized by it.
Yeah, it's probably not the case. But
hopefully not.
Yeah, statistically probably not the case. But it was a very odd situation that you were describing there. Since you touched on it, you can go ahead and, I feel, if you want to, describe everything that happened there, because he did have pneumonia, right? But that wasn't caused from smoking.
No, he did smoke since he was 8. He grew up in the Bronx in New York City, and he did all kinds of drugs from a very young age, and he had continued to do so until he was about 42, I think it was. And he was driving completely drunk, high on coke, and who knows what else. And
no seatbelt.
He got into a car accident, and he flew out of the window. His ankle got caught in the V of the window, and he swung around and his head hit a tree, and it just crushed the left upper portion of his head. And so they had to cut out a large portion of the brain. They told me he wasn't going to live. They wanted me to pull the plug. I was 19 at the time, and my family deferred all decisions to me. So I was the one going to the hospital, and they wanted me to pull the plug. They said he won't even open his eyes again. He won't move again. There's no point in keeping him hooked up to the machines. And at that time I was like, hey, I didn't put him on the machines. I have no right to take him off. What am I, God? And so I said, no, I'm not. No, he's staying hooked up. So they were pretty mad at me. They thought I was being ignorant, and maybe I was. But he did move again. He opened his eyes. He would communicate. He could never talk again. He never walked again. But he was actually able to move quite a bit at first until he didn't exercise, so he became more and more immovable. I don't know what you would call it, but... like paralyzed. Yeah. By the end, he could move one arm and one leg pretty well, but he couldn't sit up anymore. And anyways, he was in that position in a nursing home for 14 years, and he'd get pneumonia on and off, because that's what happens when you're laying down in a bed all the time. Right. And eventually, finally, at the end, it did kill him.
Right. Fluid builds up because it just doesn't have anything to work. There's not enough work on the muscles to...
Yeah.
Yeah. Corey said that the doctor came in and told him that his lungs are looking good.
That is fabulous.
That's really good.
That's fabulous. That's great news.
Right, because I know Corey smoked a lot, so that's really good to hear that your lungs are looking good. Because, I mean, that's where it messed up my mom, because she actually passed away from pneumonia as well. But
and she had lung cancer at the time.
But that was complications of a combination of stage 4 cancer and extensive chemotherapies. Yeah. And lung cancer. Right. And so the fact that Corey's lungs are looking good, that's a really, really good sign, because that's your... you have your heart, which is your pumping station, and then you have your lungs, which is, the respiratory, and that's what's going to keep oxygen delivery. That's your oxygen delivery. Yeah. And so that's a massive, massive win to have really good functioning lungs, all things considered, in a tough situation. So That's really good news. I'm glad you were able to type that and let us know about that, Corey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, pneumonia is really one of the biggest killers, but it's caused from many different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, my dad's case, he was supposed to always be like in an inclined position because he couldn't control his spit, essentially. And it would run back down into his lungs sometimes and cause pneumonia.
Yeah, that's rough too.
Yeah.
Jamie says, I've never even held a cigarette before. I also never drank a glass or bottle of alcohol or tried any drugs.
Wow.
Been a real goody two-shoes. Well, Jamie Cassidy,
That's cool.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're, statistically, you've got better odds of living longer if you don't touch any of the vices. So,
I probably never would have touched a cigarette if I had had better
Hats off.
influences growing up.
yeah, I mean, we're all products of our environment, and like human nature is a way where if you expose people to certain situations, you can expect a certain outcome within a certain level of probability. And so statistically, if you grow up around a rough neighborhood where you've got drugs on the street and easily accessible and your friends are doing it, you're more likely to do it regardless of what you think about yourself. You'll fall to those temptations and peer pressures.
Yeah.
But the same thing goes on the opposite side. If she's saying dad.
She said Joshua.
Oh, Joshua.
Joshua.
Hi, baby. What's the matter? You gonna get Joshua? You getting Joshua? She's so adorable, man. That's really good, Jamie. I'm happy to hear that. KV says Jamie's like me. That's good. You guys keep it clean.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to be in a situation where it's not around you to tempt you, then you've got an advantage in life there. You've got probably good role models or at least good a better situation than a lot of people. So, don't take it for granted and do the best you can with what you're given, regardless of what situation you're in. T and I go through different phases where we don't drink for months, and then we'll drink.
Yeah.
We'll have like 1 beer, 2 beers a day.
Then we drink a little bit for a couple months, and then we don't.
Yep. And
then we don't drink. We've gone like a year without drinking before, and then we drink a little bit, and then we don't.
Yeah. And at one time we're like, let's have a bottle of wine, and we just had a bottle of wine, and then that was it. That's all we did.
Yeah.
And then when in New York, coming back from one of the good laser treatments I had, and it was like, I don't know, was it the last time that we were going to be in New York? We wanted to celebrate with the dinner.
I think so.
The last time that we know that, according to all of the appointments we had, flying to New York City was really costly and time consuming and life disrupting for my cancer treatment. But at the end, it went really well, and I had good doctors and good prognosis, and and we wanted to celebrate. So
there was a wine shop.
There was a wine
road.
shop down the road of our hotel. We're like, hey, let's order some good food. Let's have a bottle of wine and let's celebrate. Even though everything was green in one eye at the time, I still had a little vision in it. But it's slowly gone to mushiness, and there's really not much usable. I mean, I can still detect light in something out of my left eye, but it's pretty much gone, man. And I predict it to just slowly degrade further into uselessness.
Yeah.
But I do have a good eye, and I'm still able to read, almost as fast and see things. I still run into people at the stores. It really bothers me because they don't know I'm blind. They think I'm fucking rude or something. Or
this guy just runs into people?
yeah,
Like, seriously.
It's like, what is he not paying attention? Well, no, I'm technically blind in that eye, so I apologize. I've resorted to just telling people, I'm sorry, I can't see in this eye, and then that's it. I move on. You know what I mean? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I can't see in this eye.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. I just can't see in this eye.
Well, yeah, and I could see why somebody might have a cane with them, even if they're able to see and walk just
So
fine.
people
just
would
so people know.
No, yeah. I'm not against that in the future. If I lose all vision from this eye and I can't detect light anymore, I'll probably in public just have a stick or a cane.
Yeah.
So that I can just be like, people know that there's something up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I can still read. I can still I can still do my job, thank God, so it could be worse.
It could be.
Could be a lot worse, and I know that doesn't mean that your problems are invalid because other people have bigger problems, but at the same time, you got to be realistic and look at the good side of every situation, because it's easy to just dwell in negativity. It's easy to be like, well, you know, why try, or blah blah blah, or like, I just rather die. Because you got to stay positive. You got to think about the good things. You know, you may think that nobody likes you, nobody loves you, or whatever you have in your head, or you're not valuable, but that's not true. I guarantee you there's somebody out there that thinks about you and wants good for you, and loves you, and wants you to succeed, and you to be healthy. And it's easy to just ignore all that when you're feeling down.
Yeah.
Especially if you're feeling sick.
Depression has a way of erasing that realization.
Vino says, I want to see Drifty with a high-tech cane that comes out with a hidden Nerf dart launcher at the bottom, a USB stick in the top of it, and a Wi-Fi hotspot.
That's funny.
That'd be legit.
Actually, when we weren't sure, the first doctor that Drifty saw kind of implied that he was going to have to get his eye removed.
Yeah.
And he
didn't know, though.
He didn't know,
He
and
wasn't
he's very assertive in his convictions. So
Yeah.
he was pretty convincing for me and Drifty, you know, not knowing anything else.
Right.
And so when we went to New York City, we were assuming that Drifty
I had
was
to
going to
lose
give
an
his eye out.
Yeah. We came to the. I was accepting it. Like, I had already accepted when I went out there that she was going to say the best thing to do is to take out the eye. And
she did say it was a viable option.
She did say that it is an option, but she recommends that we do brachytherapy instead of taking out the eye, because your body will create antibodies once it knows it's fighting off a cancer. And so she said, you know, and she's one of the highest paid surgeons, you know.
She's one of a few extreme specialists in the field.
She's a super specialist with this very specific case of type of cancer. It's 1 in 7 million. And so she's like, her and one other doctor above her are the source for the cutting edge stuff. And she said, at this point, I wouldn't remove my eye. She says, I would do brachytherapy and laser treatment to try to reattach the retina.
But on the same token, she also said, I want you and your wife to discuss what you want to do, either brachytherapy or to keep your eye. And they left the room. Yeah. And Mike, we sat there and we discussed which one we thought was the better option.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, you know, like, no matter, because we were worried that I would go into labor while Drifty was in the hospital, because I was 9 months pregnant. And so that was one thing that was weighing on us, that he might be in quarantine for 4 days and I go into labor by myself in Manhattan.
I was very close to saying, take my eye out.
Yeah. And I remember saying, you know, I can do that. If it happens, I'll be fine. If you want to keep your eye, don't let that stop you. And it was what we ultimately obviously decided was. And I'm happy with that decision. Yeah.
I'm really happy with that decision.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely came with some caveats. More treatments, more flying to New York City, more work, more money investment.
Yeah.
Also, I have follow-ups. I also have some things, you know, like I see white orbs floating, and I have, which I'll probably see forever because there's fluid in the eye. And I have they look like little, you know, like when a little fruit fly or bug flies by your head and you want to swat at it or something. I have that all the time, but it's nothing's flying by my head. It's just little black dots. So I have like visual apparitions, but like I've gotten used to them, and I understand, you know, that they are going to be there. And to everybody else, I look mostly normal. Obviously, there's some disfigurement with my eye being closed, and I can't open it as much as it would naturally be opened. Floaters, that's right, Polka. I have eye floaters.
Yeah.
But if you were to just look at my eye, you can't tell by looking at it that there's anything wrong with it. Yeah. And I wanted that for Lily, to be honest, because I didn't want her to see her daddy, you know, like, I'm sure she would adapt and get used to it and be like, that's just daddy.
She would love you no matter what.
I know that, but I wanted her to, you know, see me. I don't know. I can't describe it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to keep the eye so that it can still look normal. And
So,
even though
so
it's not
Legna
very
asks,
usable.
is it possible that the vision can regain? The answer to that is absolutely not.
I
It'll
don't
only
think so.
ever get worse, according to everything we've read.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think so, Sir Legna, because it's been radiated. Brachytherapy is actually where they take a quarter-sized piece of metal and they put radioactive particles on it, and then they attach that to the back of your eye where the cancer is for 72 hours, and it's like a super high dosage of radiation in a local spot, in a little tiny spot. And they used iodine 118 or 112 or something like that.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, it was an iodine radioactive material. And well, radiation, even though it was supposed to be pinpointed, it radiates, it makes a circle, and the circle slowly expands a little bit and kills all of the cells. Not just the cancer, it kills all the healthy cells. And since my particular uveal melanoma,
It was almost wrapped around the optic nerve.
it was not wrapped around, but it was like
Right up
touching.
against
It was
it,
touching
yeah.
the optic nerve.
Yeah.
And that's where all of the signal is sent into and is interpreted by the brain. So because the optic nerve received radiation, it cannot recover properly.
So is that number real, Sir Legna? 1 in 7 million is 100 people worldwide? I would have thought it was more than that.
No, it's not. It's not real.
It's got to be more than that. It's like 1,000 people worldwide or something, or 10,000.
Can you see with that eye or no? I can detect light, Zarsla. I can see if the lights are on or off.
Movement.
Sometimes movement. I get floaters, but I cannot read anything. I mean, even if it's like giant letters in front of me, there's nothing. Now, there's still some color, but like all whites look green, and it's basically... It's almost unusable, but it does provide some light detection and movement detection. Luckily, my right eye is 20/20.
It is considered legally
It's
blind.
legally blind,
Yeah,
100% by far.
Yeah.
Where do you find driftwood? On beaches. Where do pirates often bury their treasure? Beaches. Drifty pirate confirmed. He can still be pirate daddy with an eye patch. I agree. Like, and that was another thing. Like, I when I was going through all of the options, which weren't many, I was coming to the terms with the fact that I could possibly, most likely, will lose the eye. And then to myself, I would think, well, I could raise a baby with one eye, but if I don't do anything about it, then I'm gonna die. And so I just went head first. I was like, okay, let's deal with it. I don't want to do it. I hate doctors. I mean, I don't hate doctors, but I hate going to the doctor like most people. And I hate being in the hospital. But like I was all for it. Let's make it happen as fast as possible. And we reached out to lots of resources, and luckily we were able to get help with the GoFundMe. You guys raised $5,000 to help it all happen,
Which we spent every penny of on
we
the
used
treatment.
all of it. Yep.
We had exactly enough with everybody, like family helping and the GoFundMe. We ran out of money on the last trip.
Yep, because we had to go back.
Insane.
We had to keep going back for laser treatments and whatnot.
Yep. It was crazy.
Hey,
Corey,
doctors. Jamie Cassidy, that's not what I meant.
and if you're still listening, or if you're still awake, Corey, I remember when we went for the treatment, it felt like we were zombies. Like we were just like it was a daze, and it was like we were being pushed around and moved by other forces, not our own. And
Just stunned.
Yeah, just completely stunned, and it was terrible. Like it was terrible, not gonna lie. But looking back on it, it's just like an old movie, or it's like an old weird obscure memory. And like, so I guess I wanted to say that because what you're going through right now sucks really bad, and you're probably in a daze, but when you're on the other end, you'll look back on it like this faded memory, that time
hopefully.
that you went and had to get treated. And
Yeah. I don't know how it is with leukemia. Do you have to keep getting shots every 3 months or something? Like an immuno boost?
From what I understand, what Corey was telling me, it sounds like he's going to get a stem cell transplant, and I don't know that 100%,
Right.
but that's what it sounded like to me. And if all goes well with after all goes well with the stem cell transplant, he's effectively cured.
Really?
Yes. And so he would have to do absolutely nothing, and he should feel healthy unless it comes back.
Right.
So as long as it stays in remission after treatment, it would be like he doesn't have leukemia.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
We're going to be praying for Corey.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And hoping that everything goes well, and the doctors are able to do the best work that they've been able to do. Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
And
it's a
technology comes in favor of Corey,
mm-hmm.
and he's able to recover and keep headstrong and fight off the terrible feeling of chemotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a poison essentially, but
yeah.
it has to do its work.
But the body's incredible, and when you're done, it regenerates your cells, and within 7 years, you have all new body cells. From 7 years before, all the cells in your body have turned over,
right?
And you're
right.
essentially like a whole new person, a brand new person.
Over the course of 7 years, all of your cells will have regenerated.
Yep.
Into new cells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hopefully Corey's able to overcome this. I think we said and did what we wanted to do on this stream.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, we love you. Stay strong, man. We're going to end the stream and let everybody have a good, fantastic Friday. Love you guys very much. Thank you for coming to the live stream. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to. We have a Discord. Join us in the links in the description below. It's where we're going to be hanging out over the weekend. Let us know what games are popping, what you want to do, what you want to play. I've been playing Kenshi. We bought the new game dev. What's it called? Mad Games Tycoon.
It's fun.
2.
It's fun.
It's really fun, and it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
Mad Games Tycoon 2.
We're playing together. We can boost each other up or sabotage each other.
Well, the sabotage, it's early access.
Oh, okay,
so sabotage doesn't exist yet. But we're having fun playing Mad Games Tycoon 2, where you're in control of a game dev studio, and you make games starting from 1976 and on.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of cool. And I played Game Dev Tycoon for like 200 hours, and I played Mad Game Studio 1. But 2 has got multiplayer, so T and I have been really interested in that.
Yeah.
Before that, I was playing Kenshi. I still like Kenshi. I still play it a little bit. And then RimWorld I was into. Let us know what games you're playing on the Discord and the Gaming News channel and whatnot. We got a $5 super chat from Chris Williams. Thank you so much, Chris Williams, for that $5 at the end. He says, "Hey, Corey, get well. And Drifty, hope everything gets better with your condition. We need all the healing vibes for our people." That's right. I agree, Chris. I hope Corey gets well. I'm doing good. Don't you worry about me. I'm doing fantastic right now. I'm not even worried about, this vision. Like, I had already accepted this, and I could see fine in my right eye, and I'm at home with my loved ones, and life's good for me, and thank God. And so let's send our prayers to Corey. Thank you so much, Corey, for being a positive influence in our lives. You've been a guardian angel to us. I hope that in some way we can empower you or encourage you and help you in some way. You let us know as best you can, any way that we can help you, and we're going to do our damnedest to do our part and help you back, Corey. We love you. Keep fighting. I'm sorry you're feeling sick, and I hope this has a good, positive outcome in the end, and then we can all laugh about this years from now when we're making rap songs and Fruity Loops. We're going to make a group called the Cancer Brothers, and we're going to have One Eye Drifty and Big Chemo, which will be Corey, and we're gonna make some rap tracks rapping about our struggles with cancer and in the game dev industry.
It's gonna be lit, yo.
It's gonna be lit, man. Anyway, $2 super chat from Vino. Thank you so much, Vino. He says, "Have a good weekend, all. Yell if you need us, Corey, for sure. Give us a shout out. We're always on Discord. We love you. Get well soon, and everybody else, take care of yourself. Try to quit smoking if you're smoking. It's not going to do you good, but I understand, you know, if you're doing it and you have to decide that. So when you're ready, try to find reasons to help you be ready and be better if you did. That's my message for today. That's it.
Everybody have a fabulous weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you for coming. Send your love to Corey. Tag him in the Discord. Let him know that you're thinking about him when you are.
He's gonna have like ba-ding, 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 ba-ding.
Ba-ding, Corey.
Just tell him we.
And when he feels up to it, he'll come by here and there. But man,
don't expect a response.
He's wiped.
He's
and the
wiped out, man.
The treatment that he's about to go through is pretty rough on the body. So he's gonna be wiped for a little while. But Corey, you're gonna get out on the other end. You're gonna feel better, and the good days are gonna outnumber the bad before you know it. And you're gonna look back at this like a memory. It's just gonna be a memory.
It's going to be a triumph.
That thing you did.
It's going to be a triumph over an obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, we're going to end it. Love you guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Goodbye.
Bye.